I'm gonna go on a slightly different path than I have in the past. So Job actually has no idea that he is the um, pariah, or and he doesn't know that he's in the middle of a bet. Um, in a sense, on a fleshly realm, that's kind of unfair, but in a spiritual, that is so blessings, because God knew, period, that Job was going to do what he needed to do in order to uh, gain, favor, even more favor from the Lord. That is why he has so much favor, because God knows this. The arrogance of Satan to even think that he has any league of God is just ridiculous. So that's why God would do that. Uh, have you thought about my good and faithful servant Job? Because Job is upright. He hates sin. Uh, that is amazing that God would have so much faith on one of his creatures, one of his creations, especially after sin. It's like that's amazing. That goes to show you whatever you set your mind to, you can do it.
Absolutely.
The fact that one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, he lost and lost and lost and lost literally everything, and he rips off. He takes his gown and clothes or whatever off, and he shaves his hair. I don't understand how he shaved his hair that fast, but and then drops down to the ground, and he starts worshiping, starts praying, and says, "Naked did I come into this world, and naked shall I go out." Bless God. That goes to show towards his character. That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, Job thanks God. Job gives, or Job knows that God will give, and Job knows that God will take away. Regardless, God knows best. God is almighty. So if he does it for whatever reason, bless him. Thank you. I don't know your reasoning. It hurts me, but hey, you're God. You created me, so I'm all in. I'm in it to win it because who you are. That's right. In a sense, we were talking about fearing the Lord. I fear you. I love you. I trust you. No matter what you do, I'm gonna do it. Period. It speaks on the character of Job.
Absolutely. I think Job is, like you said, a good and faithful, which I think a lot of us can identify with. Not in sinless, just good and faithful to the task, to the assignment, to the job, to the spouse, to the kids, to ourselves. We're good and faithful in something, but Job is a good and faithful servant to God. And you said something. You said it was unfair. The place where Job finds himself in, and that is real. I mean, I love this about the text. I love it about the movement of where we are, that you can pull out deeper than surface and imply on the text to bring out the today's meaning of something that was written thousands of years ago. It's unfair, the fight you find yourself in when you weren't even warned before.
Right.
And God didn't drop in and knock on the door and be like, "Hey, you're gonna face a fight today."
Right.
It's just something that happens, and then you have to pick up the pieces as you go. Now, notice there's a whole conversation going on here. There's a preset, there's a trial, there's the indictment, there's the court, there's the whole situation, and the only person that's not there, who's uninformed, is the one who needs to be the defendant, or be there to defend himself, and he has no idea, not that he's done anything wrong, but that he's about to be trumped up charges on. And when the charges come in, They didn't come like sparingly one a month later. It's all in one day. I'm talking about they got indicted, charged, served a warrant. They came out to get him. He is apprehended all in one day.
Seems like everything would happen within a 30-minute period.
It was so fast. You know what I noticed there that was a little bit different? It starts off by saying that Job prayed for his kids because they would meet every day or every so often when it's time to come to a feast, that they would meet in the eldest son's house.
Well, it was according to their dates, the different sons according to their dates, and they would call the daughters or their sisters to come and feast with them. Just that day, it just happened to be the eldest son's day.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's significant because they're not always in the same place at the same time.
Right.
And so wherever this day was, this was supposedly a celebrating day. They would wake up, start the day normally. This is a good day though. This is like Christmas. This is your birthday. This is 4th of July. You start the day off normal, and then comes the greatest storm you've ever faced.
Right.
This storm is so deep, so big, so heavy, it takes out all the livestock. Only one person escapes to tell him while he's still talking. And we can go down the line, the livestock, the bank account, the stock market, we're talking about bets, we're talking about bids, we're talking about every single thing that you can imagine that you could gain from, invest in, put your savings into. He receives word that day it's depleted. It's all gone. Now, I don't know if this is a Enron situation. I don't know if this is a World Trade Center situation. I don't know if this is the collapse of the housing market, but I do know Job lost everything. But it's crazy how it tells you what the chapter is going to be about, but we don't get there until the end. The first thing in relation to Job is what the kids were doing. Then the attack started. The very last thing that happened that drove him to pulling off his clothes, shaving his head, is that he lost the kids.
Right.
Now you have to be a mama or a daddy. You gotta be an aunt or you gotta be there to feel this. Nothing else caused that man this much pain than losing them kids. And it's not that I don't believe God to take them, to save them, to be there with them, to make sure they didn't suffer in the end. It's that receiving the news is bad enough. Well, he wasn't even there to see it, but the news almost took him out. Where you don't have to experience every hurt, every tear, every pain, every problem that they face, that they will go through, but just hearing about it is enough that it really affects you. Nothing else caused that man to pull off his clothes. The problem I have here in the text is that up ahead, before we get to all of this, God brings his name up. Says, have you considered him? He's good, he's faithful. And I'm trying to find out, what did I do to deserve this kind of treatment where everything that I love is under attack? And Job is the only one who's been praying, the only one who's been seeking God's face
faithfully,
the only one who is not drinking. He ain't consumed in the world and the lust and the lifelessness of this world.
This had to have been like an ongoing bet type thing, because it wasn't implied of like, hey, I bet you this or I bet you that. It was God saying, have you considered? Meaning, have you thought about? Have you found anybody else other than my man Job?
I think it's something that that causes the mind to wonder what role you play in this game, in this is it chess? Is it hold'em, or is it high stakes? Are we playing for my life? When your life lies in the balance, it's more than just a story. I mean, it's more than just a verse that you can depict well. It's something that you feel, because Job's at a place where he's done nothing wrong. Now, I'm not talking about karma. I'm talking about you really ain't done nothing. Where you come home and you face the greatest heartache and pain, where it's not until you walk through the door that everything breaks. This is catching hell on a job. This is on the way home, the car break down. This is I get in the house and the wife gone. The kids hurt. You have nobody to call, friends left, everybody questioning you like you did all of this. And then whatever is closest to you, is that be the last blow, that's the straw that is on the haystack that breaks the camel's back. It's not just the one, it's all that. But I wouldn't have to be in this place if God didn't bring up my name. And so I know that tonight, what's the verse in Hebrews or Romans? For we know that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. And so from far view, it seems like that's crazy. How can this apply that all of this is going to work out for us good? Because it don't feel good. Don't even sound good. Look crazy. I don't know how God is going to turn this around, because you can't raise dead people. You can't bring back everything that you lost. That you're in a stuck place. But he says all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. Now, the Bible says that Job was a what? A good and faithful servant of the Lord. For he loved God and hated evil. Is that not the pretext for all things working together for the good of them that love? Job loved God. And then he's called according to the plan. Job got up every morning, every day, prayed for them kids. And here's how I know that the enemy is out of his league. Here's how I know that he has reason to worry, that he is that he is running scared, placing bets in a place where he knows that it's not going to work out in his favor.
So he'd be putting a dog in a horse race. Satan would be putting his dog in a horse race.
He would be pinning you against a baby, because I have no idea which one in the dog and a horse race.
A horse is way faster than a dog.
I didn't know that.
That's why they have like a horsepower of a car, like that, instead of dog power. I used to like the game. Anyways.
I really had no idea, because Greyhound, but I don't know, but that's maybe something different. I forget where I was.
So you said you wouldn't know if this was like a chess game or Texas Hold'em. I don't know if you play chess. There's certain pieces that have to move out of the way, basically get sacrificed in order for the bigger and more powerful pieces to be able to be set free in order to move. So you have your knight, which can jump over certain pieces, which pretty much everything, because it goes in an L. But your rook, your castle, can only go certain ways. Your queen, though, that queen can go all over the board whenever she wants to, but she has pieces in the way. So you would have to move and maneuver some of those pieces in order to get her out of the way. Also with that, there's a certain move with you moving your pawns and doing a king up or something like that, where you move your king over two and then you knock one up and you move your other piece. Forgot what it's called. But that right there is ensuring that the king is out of the way, out of harm's way, that everything around him is safe, or everything around him is going to be guarding him to where the king is safe. Um, if you are a good chess player, you all you have to do is a certain couple of moves, and you can pretty much checkmate anybody. So, in this situation, Job would be one of the good and faithful pawns that would go ahead and get sacrificed in order to let the queen go, in order to let the rook go, in order to let the knights go, or the castles go. Just in order to move that king to a certain safe place to where the king doesn't get sacrificed, the king doesn't even get checkmated or checked, because we know that if we stand up and fight hard enough, faithful enough, the king doesn't even have to be in any danger. And I know God is God, period. So God, in that sense, would be able to move all over the board. But in the sense of chess, you'd move your king, your God, out of the way, and you would fight 100% to tooth and nail to make sure that God is taken care of. So if you have to go and sacrifice yourself, you would. So I look at Job as being one of these sacrificial pawns, and it shows that he's willing to go. He's willing to do it.
I don't play chess. I get the gist.
Mm-hmm.
You lost me in relation just a tiny bit. Like, I get what you're saying. Now my mind is going to which one would be the king, and maybe another example or
Okay.
more. Well,
Well, the queen would be the taller, slender, more slender, right there next to the king. The king is in the middle, and the queen sits right next to him. The king can only move one or two spaces, where the queen can go all over the board. So the queen would be like Jesus. The king is God sitting in heaven, and he would send his pawns, his disciples, his apostles, different things like that, to go out and fight for him, spread the word, and they would be, sacrificed how they have been. And the queen, like I said, would be Jesus to come out to do what needs to be done. I know, Jesus never killed anybody. Just saying, in this sense, as far as like the game of chess, protect the king at all costs. Protect the kingdom of heaven. Satan would be trying to make his throne above, above the stars, above God, trying to sit high like God. He can't do that if he can't get past us. So Satan's job is to come and deceive us, is to try and hinder us from seeking the kingdom of heaven. Well,
okay, wait, hold on. In light of Job, in light of Job, I don't want to steer too far away. Right here, you use the chess because, of course, I would say it in relation to Job. I was just a little bit lost of the because I really have never played. Did Job make it relatable as far as like what you're saying?
yeah, like I said,
outside of the chess example, if
outside of the
yeah,
chess example.
Like, just for those that don't play chess, for those that maybe real world context, you're Job. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So in real world context, if I know that there's a disaster coming, I would put myself ahead of my children or ahead of my loved ones to make sure that I sacrifice myself so they didn't get hurt, knowingly or unknowingly. So if something would have happened to me, I would say, thank God it didn't happen to my son. Thank God it didn't happen to my wife, my brother, my children, my whoever.
Yeah. I think if this is a planned event, all of us would be ready. I mean, right? Like, who knows a hurricane is coming And even if passively you're not a little bit prepared for it. And this catches not only Job off guard, who is common with God. Like God knows him. The problem is that nobody gave him a heads up.
Right.
And then nobody foretold the wife, nobody foretold the servants. So we're catching all this at the same time. This is news across the screen. This is the siren making is around his noise.
Right.
Like as this is Thursday a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It just hit out of nowhere.
COVID-19.
And there's no preparation time. There's no like. I know that's gonna be in there. There's no preparation time. There's like no time to recover, to what would it be like repeal and replace.
Mm-hmm.
There's no time to prepare at all. This just hits you out the blue, and it's all because God missioned you. So the all things working together for the good is your end result being point Z or E or F, whatever. Well, there isn't anything past Z. Point Z being right, because it could be like Z12. There isn't anything past this point for you, and God is making sure that you get to this point. And we get caught up in the trivial things of the crossing and the weaving and the little fight here and the battle over there, but God is missioning you to win the war at the end. So if your destiny, if your perfected future, if the divine will of God in perfection is that you win the war, sometimes God will allow you to come to battles that you lose so you become tough enough to win the war. And it's not about how well I can fight. It's not about if I have on this guard or if I have this person beside me or if I'm trained in this. It's that I'm showing up for the fight and I don't give up. That I don't give up at standing up. I don't give up at showing up. I don't give up at praying up. I don't give up at all, because I know that in the end it's gonna all work out for me. It's gonna all work out for my good.
It's having
and when
faith and trusting your leader, your guide, whoever would send you to battle. So they send you to battle. It's 12 of us and it's 12,000 of them. That's an unfair battle. But God is like, I'm setting everything up for the end war, or the end battle, not this war right here. This war means nothing. So I'm willing to sacrifice you guys or let you guys go do what you need to do, because I'm looking ahead.
Yeah, it's all preparing. It's all the preparation. You never find anybody in war for the very first time and they haven't had any kind of training. I mean, at the very least, there's some type of ops operation. There's some type of background training. There's some type of what is it? Boot camp. Yeah. There's some kind of something that has prepared them, if not in their mind, in their body, to prepare. Hey, we're about to go to war. So you don't get out there expecting it to come from the right and it comes from the left. You don't get out there and stand on the other side of the field and then shoot those who would be on the same side or the side that you were supposed to be on. The preparation is the battle. And a lot of times the battle will like bring you to a point where you're like Job, where I really want to bless him out, but instead of doing all that, I'm like, bless him. It is, he gives, he takes away. Bless him. I can have it or not have it. Bless him. And it's not like he lost everything, just the sons. Did you catch that?
Mm-hmm. I did.
But the heir is attached to the sons. That the daughters are alive, but they're wounded.
Right.
They're hurt. It's about the same thing. And then the last straw is you touch his body, you touch his wife, you take everything. What more can I lose?
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna work out for my good, but when do I start feeling good about it working for my good?
When you start bringing his friends, his supposedly close friends, and they're not friendly.
They trying to find out what did you do.
Right.
Now I don't know in what in what depiction of detail we be like, what kind of friends these were. I don't know what kind of character they are. I know by the text they meet him caliber, with maybe status, maybe fame, maybe income. They're on the same
close to it, because he would be higher than them. Yes, he was like the greatest man in Ooze, so they would be slightly right up under him. Yeah, it's like that's what my understanding would be.
Well, I think when it's like there was no other man in the land.
That's right, because they're like from Chaldean, like they're from other places.
There would be, I mean, you know that he could be, living in Uz by himself. Right. I am the only one like me at this address.
Right.
Until Trevor comes in, and then he's like, now I'm like next best.
I'm not from this address. I'm from another address. You are the man in this dress. I'm the man in my dress.
I don't have a dress.
I don't dress in dresses either.
I mean, now in some places that they do, and no shade against those people. I think they put a little lipstick on. We got something. The thing about it is though, is that when you come to a place where I'm not sure how, not sure when, not sure where, I don't know how you're gonna bring me out. Where my friends doubt me, wife doubt me. Where God, for real, I'm doubting it. Where like I'm sure somewhere in his mind he has to go down his list and be like, what did I do?
Right, trying to figure out what he did.
What did I do? You ever? I feel him in the room now. I've been in a place where I really didn't do nothing. 7 months, I didn't do nothing. Be in a place where I really didn't cheat. I really didn't lie. I was just in the wrong place, but at the right time. I would be innocent, trying to prove myself innocent because I'm looking guilty.
How about being innocent, being at the right place at the right time, meaning you're not anywhere, and their eyes see guilty when that was your past, or they're guilty. Yes. How can you defend yourself?
I mean, it speaks to reason. Should you? I
Right.
mean, you feel like, what? You're supposed to be my friend. You're supposed to be my family. You're supposed to be those. You know me, and you doubt me.
Right.
I could expect this from people that ain't connected to, that don't know me, that ain't sure about me. These are people close to me are the enemy. And he's sitting there 7 days for every child that he loses. That's weeks no food. Weeks no communication. And when he opens up to entertain the people that come in talking about you blaspheming the name of God. And I would think the same thing.
Yeah.
Jeremiah, Trevor, what, listen, you can be honest with me. Just tell me. I ain't gonna blame you. You done lost every, what more you got to lose but your pride? What did you do? Maybe you can repent. Maybe I can help pray for you. Job's like, I really didn't do nothing. It's like, why would God do this to you? Then he said, he's never done something like this before. And Job's like, it's the first time for everything.
God is God. Like, he can do what he wants to do.
I ain't done nothing to deserve this. And let me tell you on today, there are levels to this. It is on this one, they only face certain amount, certain type, certain kind of attack. But when you go higher in the spiritual, you have to know the enemy comes higher in the attack realm as well. That some of the stuff God brings you to is because of the level that he put you on. And the enemy comes in different for the season that you grow up, different. And when you become enlightened, that he does too. When you become brightened, he does too. When you become saved by the blood, is that he'll dress as a lamb too, and know that he'll have blood on him the same as you have on you. But you have to know that it is levels to this. And so when God brings you here, expect your attack to be here. It's never going to be the same. He didn't just lose one sheep. one child, one house, it was always 7 times bigger. And know that David and Goliath, I'm not sure the ratio of height to size, but he's smaller than the giant, but he's facing something everybody else ran away from,
Right.
but he has no fear of, not because of him, but because of the level that he's on. The God that's in him called him to defeat anything that was bigger than him that would oppose him. Every fight you face is going to be bigger than you, but that speaks to the level God has missioned you on.
Right.
If you're fighting something small, it must mean that you are the enemy on today. You have to know that God always puts you in front of something that'll challenge you but not kill you. It won't take you out, not if you don't allow it. It won't be the demise of you, the death of you, the last that they see of you, unless you come to a place of being like, I defeat me in my own mouth before I ever get. So if David had showed up and was like, I can't do it, I'm not big enough, that we seem like, we seem like grasshoppers in their eyes. How you see yourself smaller in somebody else's eyes and you in your eyes? Right. That you have to see yourself winning. I know it don't feel good. It don't feel like you're gonna win. It feels like I'm losing. I don't feel like a victor, but you have to begin to speak it. And though his friends are work of the enemy, because sometimes friends can be, and a lot of them ain't even friends. So y'all need to quit all that. A lot of the times the enemy will be so next to you, so in you, so laying in your bed, that you'll believe the lie of whatever the enemy said, and you'll begin to doubt you, and you know what you did. Right. You know how you pray. You know how sincere the relationship is, and you know where you struggle. And so honesty is never a problem when you can be honest with you, except for when you allow those people connected to you to lie to you so much that you don't even believe you.